All right, so this is what we normally do, like volunteers for Port Towns Day. That instead of buying their food, we would give them a certain amount of money that's worth, a card that's worth $6 or $10. And so their volunteers would give them their card, and then they could go to whatever food truck they wanted to in order to spend it. Although we normally would have participating trucks. So we might have 3 trucks out of the whole bat that are participating with us and willing to take this ticket. So if we were to give out tickets, food tickets, even if it's for a single food truck, I don't know if I care, but maybe we should open it up to other food trucks. Why just have one?
How much has it costed us to have food trucks at Colmar Manor Day, and how much have we expended on a single food truck in those events?
We don't spend money on the food trucks.
Oh,
are you talking about like when we?
By the basketball
So you just
court
get a
and
commitment
stuff?
of them to come, and then they sell whatever they sell.
I would say each one is different, because when we make a deal like we do with Burger King, like where we go, you're guaranteed to we're gonna give the people this ticket, and you guarantee you're gonna give them a hamburger and some french fries and a small drink. And so whatever our agreement is with Burger King, we're paying that amount per ticket that we're giving to them. So that's if we're paying all. So like when I was talking about with Port Towns Day, we didn't know what everybody cost. Somebody must have a meal for $14, somebody else may have a meal for $7. I give you a ticket and say it's worth $6. You make a decision if you wanna go and pay the extra $8 because you want this meal, or the extra $1 because you want this meal. But we're out of it after that. We're giving everybody $6. And so if we went with a way like that, it's just like you're really clear. If we're gonna put up $15 per meal per person, we give everybody $15, whoever the company is or the truck, they agree to accept this ticket, which is worth $15, to buy whatever the meal is.
I find it less troublesome if there were multiple trucks. With one person there, it feels.
I actually do too. I mean,
I'm not speaking for all the council. I feel like I am open to this if there are changes inside of the memorandum.
Okay, tell me what they are.
So the consistency is one. As Councilmember Ball said, if you're going to do gift cards all the way through, or if you're going to do food, and let's go about it a better way as far as having, multiple trucks there so that we're.
Hold your thought, because I'm asking a question about that. When you say gift cards, are you saying Walmart in both times?
I mean, I'm not opposed to different.
So maybe one month is Walmart,
One more, and the other month,
Target,
yeah, something like that.
Or
Yeah.
Sam's Club, like.
I mean, maybe.
Costco.
Also, why was this done with just the mayors where, when Port Towns does stuff, all of the councils and everybody comes to the Port Towns meetings and we all talk about things. Why was this just the mayors? Like, we weren't even in on the discussion of how this thing was formulated.
A lot of things are done by the mayors, and then we are instructed to go back to our councils and tell you what's been discussed and what's talked about, but a lot of stuff is done by the mayors initially. What did you say?
I said I was about to say something. I shut myself up.
Yeah.
I say y'all make it happen. Then without the votes, without everything happening, y'all make the.
No, we bring it. At least I do. Maybe, and not everybody does. I mean, at least I do.
We appreciate you for that
Yeah,
too.
but yeah, it's a.
Well, I know Cottage City voted on it. They didn't just go with whatever Wanda wanted, so I know they voted on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
I'm
they
here.
approve?
I mean, just like that too. I mean, this is.
Did they approve the 5,000?
Did they?
It is my understanding that they did.
Did they make any changes? Did you hear about any? Did they make any changes?
I just made 2 calls to see how they felt about it, and it was voted for. I believe, I don't want to misrepresent, but the two commissioners I spoke with both were in favor of it, as a way of incentivizing those who might not otherwise get the shot. I'm not against the concept of encouraging people to get the shot. I just feel like things weren't thought through, but
I definitely don't have a problem with incentivizing people to get the shot. I mean, I understand that, I know you, and we're gonna be okay with those thoughts, because that's a noble thought, noble thinking. But, procedurally, I don't see enough procedures in place here that give me accountability, a foundation. And then all the intention is there, it's good, but I like to see where we're turning left, when we're turning another left, and then we're gonna turn right, and where all that is, and I don't see it. So, you just tell me, okay, but you guys are feeling like gift cards at both.
So also, gift card, it says per family, right?
Yeah, one per family.
So it was tied to a child, was the family, it looked like.
No, you're a family if you're one person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, health insurance might think differently, but
Yeah,
that can be pursued.
I mean,
The-
it's $50 versus like something to eat. Like, I'm sure a lot of families would agree for $50. And if we're doing that, and I would like for us to have a better control of this, if we're doing this, of the gift cards that we're spending. So I would suggest, or thinking in terms of, if we send out, let's say, a link, and they can pre-register with us, that way we have some information, and then they can come and receive a gift card from us. It can be sent electronically. I don't know if there's.
They're not going to, the rest of the group is not going to.
Okay, well, it doesn't
Because
matter,
even
but
when
at
I
least
just
like.
asked for the zip code, she told me that's too much work. And all I was asking
Well,
for
it
was a
was
zip
too
code.
much work. It was too much work. On the other hand, you said, Mayor, send out somebody from our office and be there and
I will
just
do
track
that.
that information. But that they're also paid for, for these hours that we're sending them off. So it's too much work one way or the other.
I didn't say it was too much work. I said that's what the response I got from people.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it should be too much work for us to do zip code 20722. I personally feel is that if we're doing all of Maryland, if we're incentivizing, if this incentive money is coming from our town, it should be going to our zip code. And I don't mind it being all in 20722, but if we're gonna do all the state of Maryland, Maryland should be putting in 5,000, and also the county should be putting in 5,000. I don't see why not. I mean, it's so easy for everybody to all of a sudden show up from somewhere in, Clinton or whatever, because there's $50, or there's lunch from Joe's, whatever his name is, seafood.
a lot of people have seafood allergies. I mean, not to get picky, but did anybody think about that? What's he offering to? Well, I mean, and if you have a severe
Maryland
seafood
crabs.
allergy, you can't eat anything from that truck, because if it's anywhere near seafood.
Well, and they won't come that day to get it. I just want to know, why would you come? It must be Pfizer, is it, because they're 3 weeks apart, so it must be Pfizer. Because I'm thinking that's a first shot and a second
so
shot.
we'll have to do it twice, right?
That-
2 separate days.
Oh, they're trying to
This
attract
today.
the same people to both weeks?
I don't know, but that's what it sounds like, and I think that.
Well, it doesn't say that clearly,
It
and that's
doesn't.
the problem with the document. The document is not clear.
Because my question that I hadn't asked yet was, is this about the first and second shot? And are we only giving it to someone who's coming for their second shot to get the $50, or anybody that shows up on the 20th?
I agree with you, Mayor. At the same time, we can't make a decision on a document that's not giving us the proper information. And then with a document at disagreement right now, I'm already unaligned with this whole thing. So I would like them to either give us a better document, like a revision of this document with the possibility of the changes that I've requested, or I'll have to abstain my vote on this.
And the
because-
date is before our next work session.
So
Yeah.
Yet again, we're being asked to vote on something. Who originated the document, Mayor? Do you know which town originated?
This is on North Brentwood, right?
So was this created by their attorney?
I couldn't tell you who created it.
No, attorney didn't write that.
No, I mean, I would think not, but I don't know whose people attorneys are. I mean, there's $5 attorneys and then there's $5,000
Maybe it
attorneys.
was a $5.
The first clue is, if this was from attorney, these first 3 paragraphs would be started by
Whereas.
I think they need to get back to us with some more information. Honestly, I'm very suspicious of the food truck. I think the spirit is good. I think the implementation is odd, and I'm uncomfortable giving a food truck $10,000 for an undetermined amount of food. We don't know how many gifts, we don't know how many people are going to show up.
Hey, my grandma, she'll cook for y'all. Pay 10,000. I'll get her a truck from Zip House.
I mean, and honestly, if you're going to do it like Port Townsend, have 4 food trucks with different kinds of food, and let the people come, like the mayor
Okay.
said, and get a gift card and go to
What
the.
I would prefer to do, I prefer to tell them what we want. Because if we can agree that we're okay with spending whatever amount of money for these things, then that's our line drawn. We already know we're going in if these demands, if you will, are met.
Well, if they're going to do it this close to the holidays, give them money both times. Then they can go spend it on whatever they want. If they don't like seafood, they can go to Taco Bell. You know, give them a gift card at each time, and pick one could be a $50 Visa gift card that they can spend anywhere they want. And then if you're really needy and you need Pampers or you need underwear, you go buy what you want. You don't have to go to Walmart if you don't want to, you know, or choose a grocery store. I don't care. But it's like, this doesn't seem, I don't like this food truck.
So, I mean, from my position, from my opinion on that, if they want to do the food truck there and the person wants to go and use their card at the food truck, then they go use their card at the food truck. But if they want to use their card at the grocery store, they have the option of using their card at the grocery store.
That's reasonable. That seems so much more
So
reasonable.
I would be in favor, if they want to do the gift cards from Walmart for one of them, the other one is a Visa card. And we pay whatever the fee is, include whatever the fee is, or whatever that might be for it. But I'm good with that, because that was still, they want to do the food truck.
And they would be $50 gift cards both times.
It would have to be a little bit less than $50.
I was going to say 50 is a lot of seafood, boss.
Let's do 25 and 25 maybe.
Well,
Or, well,
what is it
What
that,
about 25 and 50? Because if you go to 25, you're gonna feel like, oh yeah, I wanna come back and get my 50.
no, like 2 times.
if the Visa card is the week of the food,
Like, I know a few of these people in some places, but they're not gonna agree below the $50 on that, this one of these cards. They're not.
Say again, what?
They're not gonna agree to less than $50.
Oh, really? I thought,
On the one card they already are. I think we can convince them on 25 for the seafood, because that's not, shouldn't be $50 to buy the seafood anyway.
I don't know. No, I
Ooh.
think we definitely, I don't want to have create a monopoly for this seafood box.
I'm not, listen, no, I'm with you guys, I'm totally writing this down.
I mean, honestly, it's a $50 box lunch is what it comes out to.
It's just
You
insane
are,
amount of
what is
money.
that place called?
Somebody wants Seafood Boss to have a very nice Christmas.
Oh, the child. There it is. On the go.
No, I am putting down right now, gift cards for both events, one Walmart, one Visa.
All right, well, that was my spiel.
If people want to use it for their truck, that would be their business, it wouldn't be on us, we would just be giving them the card.
And you said they refused to go with 20722 zip code only?
I already got a no on it. I mean, I can say, by the way, my council would also like to restrict it, limit it to 20722. I mean, I can just give an opinion and see what comes back with it.
Well, I mean, that's the whole name of the drive, so we should definitely
It's not,
push for it.
because we're not gonna get $5,000 from the state and $5,000 from the county in this short notice. So, it just doesn't make sense
But will we be asking them for their ID and that?
No, we're not.
Well, we usually, if you get a vaccination, you have to receive a card.
We're
and
not giving out
everything.
vaccinations.
Huh?
We're not giving out vaccinations.
No.
Prince George's County Emergency
Oh,
Management Team from the Health
Right.
Department are giving out vaccinations.
Right, right.
We're a location, and we're the incentive. We're the incentive and we're the
Well, I mean, they have to show
location.
their ID for that
But
one.
it's HIPAA data, I mean, we won't have
Yeah, I
access to it.
understand.
I get what they're saying now.
And that's
So-
why she didn't wanna ask for the zip code, because it's an extra step. Prince George's County Emergency Management can't give us that zip code.
Yeah.
Health Department can't give us that zip code. We would have to have a separate place where we're now asking for the zip code, and that's like another extra step.
I don't know.
You can't just ask somebody, hey, so what community are you coming from?
Like,
I would love to.
that makes sense to me, because it's like.
We ask it when they
Extra
vote.
way for you to get your gift card. You just put your little zip code right there, you take the gift card.
All those, anybody who's smart enough who knows, oh, this is a 207-722 drive. Let me just
Just
go
go
from
down there.
207-222.
What community are you from? You're always gonna have people that play the system. You
know.
can't eliminate that. But you can put bumpers up.
Listen, I will put that down as a suggestion that, okay, this doesn't have to be that hard. We don't have to ask for evidence. We can just ask people what community they're from. If they know to say Brentwood, North Brentwood, Colmar Manor, County City, God bless them.
Well, and the rationale behind that is, as a community, we would like to know how our community responded to this opportunity.
Yes.
We'd like to know how many Colmar Manor citizens or residents showed up. Since we're spending Colmar Manor ARPA funds on this project, it would be nice for us to know how it benefited our local residents.
Because, well, I mean, and that's a question too, is like we have restaurants where a person might live in Laurel, but they work in our restaurant. That's still somebody that you want to give the opportunity to. Although I hope most restaurants got their people vaccinated by now. Okay, now my thing is, I would prefer that we buy our own cards and supply someone from here to distribute them. So if everybody is like, okay, now you, 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 and everybody buy their own cards and have somebody there to distribute them. I don't like this idea of not really, okay, we did distribute this amount and now we're gonna, oh, we've got this much left, we're gonna split up and go, or, you know.
Is that putting any strain on our already reduced staff to ask them to work on a Saturday? 2 Saturdays.
2 Saturdays. I mean, Abigail's already prepared to work Saturdays as a part of what she agreed to when she first came here to work. Primarily
many?
for the bazaar, but
Abigail.
Abigail, yeah. But also, I mean, David, who's supposed to be doing streets all the time, is still here on Saturdays. So there is an opportunity without disrupting somebody too terribly to have somebody available on Saturday. Of course, it could also be one of us, people who don't really get paid to be there on Saturday.
Well,
to
one of
do
the
it.
days I'm teaching, so I can't do, I could do, and well, the 11th, we got 2 events here. There's 3 events on the 11th.
So guys, we have some other things that we're gonna have to go into closed session for, and so,
Well, we haven't finished.
Well, yeah, we can.
if we can, y'all can give me your definition, give me your rules.
No, we haven't finished ARPA engagement discussion, have we?
Our what?
No, we haven't even started it.
On our what?
ARPA engagement.
ARPA, we haven't, yeah, we can't.
Oh, ARPA engagement
Yeah, we
discussion.
can go to that. I mean, just, the stuff we got so far is pretty legit.
I mean,
So it's 50, what did we come down on? $50 gift cards each of the 2 days? One is cash, Visa, the other one is Walmart.
Didn't we say 50 and 25?
Oh, we did say 50 and 25, I'm sorry. They're not gonna like that, but
They're not gonna like it at all. Deal with it.
well, the Visa cards are gonna, they cost like what is it?
I don't know, for the Walmart and Visa ones, you pay $4.95 a piece usually.
$4.95 each, yeah.
And the Walmarts don't have a processing fee or anything?
No.
Ah.
Store cards.
I see.
Yeah, you don't wanna get a $25 Visa card, cause you're paying, 20%.
You're gonna pay $30 for $25.
Mm.
It's like you don't go to ATM that charges you a withdrawal fee if you're only getting $20 out. Why pay $3 to get 20 of your own money?
Yes.
Yeah, this deal is actually better at doing the $25 Walmart card and the $50 Visa card.
Mm.
So you want, Visa cards don't normally cost more because you bought more, you still pay the $4.95.
Mm.
You want more. Okay,
So are you going back with those changes, but they haven't made any motion to approve any money, so.
well, that's what I want to know, if they can make a motion to approve the $5,000 if your stipulations are met. And that's the way the vote is spoken.
Sounds good,
So
yeah.
only if your stipulations are met does the vote stand.
You want to make that motion? I see those looks.
I'm just, hey, Councilmember Harding, I'd like to make the motion to allocate the $5,000 towards the municipality 20722 vaccine drive. What are we calling these?
So, okay, if the funding is spent
If this funding is spent
with a Visa card of $50
with a Visa card of $50
and a Walmart card of $25.
and a Walmart card of $25.
And that there is indication of better controls on the accounting.
And that there's indications of better controls on the count and counting, as well as changes to the document for better understanding.
Okay,
Okay.
Councilmember Hobbs seconded.
Okay. Any discussion? So I want to just make clear, what we're saying is the gift cards. Okay, so okay, the gift card, in the first round, they would get a Walmart $25 gift card, and in the second round, they'll get the $50 Visa card. And, well, I guess we need to do the Visa card first, because, well, then why would they come, if they want to have their food truck there, well, anyway, we just go with the numbers. And then I'll still ask the questions that you guys asked, just for clarification and getting the document prepared more properly. All right, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4 is absent, and the mayor votes aye. All right, so we'll work on that.
So now you need a motion to transfer money from unreserved ARP monies to a new line item called vaccine.
Okay, so motion to transfer funds from ARP unreserved,
20722 vaccine drive.
Vaccines.
yes. 207.
You said unreserved?
The ARP unreserved.
Okay, Councilmember Bowles will make the motion to transfer $5,000 from the unreserved ARP monies,
Actually, it's called the ARP special funds.
the ARP special funds, to a new line item created for the 20722 vaccine drive.
Okay.
Councilmember Harding, and I second that.
Okay, any discussion? Call for a vote. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4, absent, the mayor votes aye. All right, so, that motion is passed, and I'll let you guys know what response we get. And, all right, so the last item on the agenda, which is
Yes.
ARPA engagement. discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted us to discuss moving forward with this, what we've just been talking about.
We actually
for
might feel like we've had a lot of ARP.
Well, we originally had a discussion where we talked about engaging a manager of these funds, an advisor. And someone was recommended, or I believe, was it someone or someone, potential someones maybe were introduced by Mr. Baden. And then we had a discussion where Miss Jackie had proposed someone which would be augmented by another someone who would do community surveying. But we haven't made any decisions about that to my knowledge. And so in order so that the next time we make a choice about how to use ARPA, we're making it from a fully, or at least a beginning of a vision for this money. I'm asking that we try to move forward with whatever method we're going to use to analyze the use of these funds in as responsible a way as possible.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add, I was at the Brentwood business breakfast, and I picked up survey that Brentwood is circulated among their residents, and I really like the way they engage their residents. There was an announcement. They're holding community pop-ups. There's 3 of them, and they are asking their people, let us know, how do you want to spend the money? And on top of that, and I can pass these around, they're sending out, or the survey was available at the pop-ups, a list of things that are, that the money that the residents can select that are important to them, such as, please rank your top 4 priorities for potential spending, and they give choice such as child care programs or affordable housing or stormwater management or small business assistance. Examples include job training and assistance to nonprofits, public health, broadband infrastructure, roadways, streetscape improvements, infrastructure improvements.
Okay, I get you,
Yeah.
and I hear you, and I understand it, and we're not, literally, guys, if I have to scream in my head, because we do these things, we do business meetings, we know about how to ask the questions, we have nobody to do these things, all right? We're gonna solve that problem, but at the end of the day, I don't need it rammed down our throats. Oh, this was a great, wonderful idea. We know how to have great, wonderful ideas. We know what they are. We know what the things to do are. I'm being sensitive, and that's okay, because it is where I am. We know what to do. We do not have the capacity to do things right now. But that's gonna change, and everything we need to do is going to change. So I'm sorry, I don't even mean to be like that.
When is it going to change, and when are we going to hire more people?
Well, we're gonna have that conversation in a minute. So,
I think what
But,
Councilmember Bowles is asking is that we hire a consultant to do this for us.
Exactly.
We don't need to do it ourselves.
well,
That we could hire a consultant that will put together a survey, that will organize the meetings, and ARPA funds can be used for those purposes.
And also-
and that was the first where I wanted to go with this. I've been in the middle of so many other things, and quite frankly, so has Jackie, in that there was a professor from the university who wanted to use this project as a graduate class project to bring in. And that's who I've been waiting for in terms of hearing from and what to do. And then on the other side of things, we can talk a little bit more about why that hasn't happened. But there's a difference in a professional firm who is just going to do the basic survey and someone who's going to be communicating with people. And that was the line that we were trying to draw between bringing in the professor and the students, because then we would have a group who's really trying to communicate with people rather than someone who's just creating statistical data. And so, anyway.
Yeah, I believe that the person that Jackie was bringing in is someone who's a statistical person, whereas people that the state of Maryland are using or other counties are using, are professionals that could put together the documents that we need, because we don't have the expertise. You know, I know, I think quite a bit about the program, but I still have questions. You know, and if we have companies like Haggerty and Associates, who's doing the state of Maryland, or Tom Himmler, who is assisting Prince George's County, previous finance director of the county, or
I think we're talking
anyone
about two
from
different things.
other, you know, I was at a seminar last week, and they had presentation from the consultants who are helping Hartford County. You know, so there's companies out there that are doing this, and they are, you know, they will organize these meetings for us. They will put the surveys in place. They will compile the information. They'll help us disseminate it. They will help guide us based on what those programs are that the people say are their priorities, and then develop the plans and make sure that, you know, for each use of the funds, when you document it, you have to state, why is it related to COVID? How is it combating the economic effects? Is it directly, you know, helping battle COVID? So you have to document all those things, and they are experts at doing it. So if they could write all that up for you for every single, if we're doing, you know, you just listed 20 programs, are we going to write up documentation to back up 20 programs? No, we're not. We need someone like that. We don't need a research student at the University of Maryland to do it.
I agree.
You know, you need someone,
So
that
I think we're
professional
talking-
firm that you're going to pay money to,
I just have to
in
say-
order to get it done, and at least listen to them and hear what they could do.
I don't, listen,
And
bring
instead
in,
instead of just talking about it.
bring in whoever it is that you want to bring in. We are talking about two different things. So what you're talking about is the technical matter of understanding exactly is what we do, and somebody who's going to be able to document it or whatever. And what I think that we've been talking about is hearing what is the experience of the people who live in this town and what are their needs. And
Absolutely, and that's part of the whole process, and you bring people in to say, here's the things you could do. You know, here's a whole list of what you could do, you know, and whether it's that type of survey or something else, you don't bring them in who, you know, they don't, the majority of them aren't going to know much more than the average person on the street, so.
We don't need, there's a place when you need the technical aspects of whatever you're doing, and there's a place when you purely need, without knowing it's going to result in the exact thing that you wanted to be in, where it's just completely a personal response to what's needed. And so they're two separate pieces of information, and one can take us further than just ARP and just helping us know who lives here with us, as well as what may or may not be able to done.
But I
mean-
believe that Mr. Baden's suggestion, coupled with a citizen committee on ARPA, could accomplish what you're wanting, as well as have professional guidance so that we don't get 2 years down the road and find out we spent $50,000 on something that. And what's concerning me right now, especially even at the recent MML conference, is we had a roundtable with 4 state officials, and I asked very specific questions about how I would like to see the money moved in Colmar Manor, and they couldn't answer me whether we could or not. So I think we need people that, and I also am concerned that there may be many avenues for us to receive funding, and I don't want us to waste opportunity to maximize the ARPA funding by also coalescing all of those other sources. And I think that appeals to me, because I'd like our citizens to benefit in every possible way by the ARPA. And I hear what you're saying, Mayor. I think a citizen committee on the ARPA, which we could, and the council could serve with the committee, we could resolve to form the committee, and then this professional organization could advise. And it sounds like, Mr. Baden, you're saying they would also do potential surveying, and
If that's what you want them to do, yes, that's what they're qualified to do.
So can you just send us some links to websites or something that tells us some of the things of whatever the folks do? We're going into the holiday season, and I think that's where people's minds generally are. Once you get in that second week of November, that's where people are. into what's going on for their holiday and their holiday meals and gifts and traveling and all that kind of stuff. I want to, as you say, avoid spending the money anyway otherwise in the most powerful way. But if you think about it, like when you go into a strategy session or strategic planning session or so forth, and you know how you start out with, these are everything that's available, and I'm gonna give you all the little white, the yellow stickers, and everybody go up on the board and put up what's your 1, 2, and what's your 3, and what's your 4. And then after you get up there and you start to, okay, let's put these things together, these are like the same things, and these are very similar to this, and then you get down to a lower list. Now, what's the viability of doing this? What's the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages? And you go through that over the smaller group that you have once you get the smaller group. So starting out with the larger group of something that will churn out like, no, not a good idea when the expert looks at it, is not a bad thing. It's just how you whittle down to, okay, now we got down to here, and then you get the experts in that come in and go like, okay, well, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna need to da-da-da-da, or this is better than this. But I feel like our citizens group and surveys and the things that just give us the raw information to start is where we need to start. And I feel like we need to save the experts to examine what we pull together. Now, these experts are gonna be the ones that are gonna be our capacity to work with our citizen group and hear them and, you know, listen and let them do this before they do this. I'm okay with that too, because we just don't have the direct capacity right now. If we're not willing to wait for us to have some more staff.
What is it that we have to do by April 30th?
You just have to do your first reporting of how you spent your funds.
And we won't have spent any,
Yeah, which is good
except
and
for this
bad.
5,000 and the 2,700.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the last seminar that I went to with the, it's Maryland government finance officers, and they had, consultants talking. The reason you're getting half of the money now is because they want to see how you're going to spend it. And they said, in their opinion, they see this as evolving. They'll probably add more things into what you can spend it on, take away things that you can't, or maybe say, I mean, right now, only 2.5% of the funds allocated to all the states have been spent as of last week when I went to the seminar. 25 of the states have spent zero, and 2/3 of the 90 top cities and towns that have been given funding have spent zero. So no one is using their money, which kind of scares me. I know everyone says take your time, but I think as you get along and people aren't spending the money, the government's going to say, well, maybe you don't need it.
If
And that's
the
why
money-
we gave you half of it.
If we
I
don't
think that we can get far after the first of the year. I mean, it's just a lot to
Yeah.
throw at everybody all at once. But, I mean, you're not wrong. There's a, the delay and the time frame that they gave it to us, the time when they were saying, don't guess and blah, 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 and everything like that. So we're not out of line with everybody else because it's so many folks haven't spent it. But they did this with rental income. I mean, there's still money sitting on the table from all this, rental assistance.
And over, it could be, I haven't done all the calculations, but, over half the money might be lost revenue component, which means we could spend on any general government purpose you want. So instead of just asking the citizens, what do you want out of these 4 major categories that ARPA could provide, what do you want in general to see happen in the community? Because maybe $800,000 of it, we could spend on whatever we want.
But
Any
it's
general
lost-
government purpose, we could buy vehicles, we could buy salary, we could improve roads, we could do permeable pavers.
But
we
but
could-
it's lost revenue. It needs to go back to revenue, but that's a whole nother
No,
topic
it doesn't go,
altogether.
no.
It's lost
That,
revenue.
it doesn't go to lost revenue to spend for lost revenue. It's to spend on projects in the future before December of 2024, are obligated by then and spend it by December of 2026. So
My concern
you
is,
do have to spend it. It's not to put back in your.
my concern is I am sensing, 5,000 for this, 7,000 for
Well,
that.
that's why you need a consultant
I'm
to come and
I'm
tell us that, and,
experiencing people
you know,
are chunking at this money now, and rather than chunking at it, Let's surgically, I think this community can be fully served and their voices can be heard. And I think that in this examination, even if it's with a professional organization, even if the citizens ask for things that ARPA can't cover, we will also know what they need and what they want.
You're
And
saying the same thing I just said. So you're
yes, from a different point of view, yes.
I'll provide proposals that say what they'll do and the costs involved, and then you could, you could refine those proposals or discuss them or ask for additional ones, but I think that would be the starting point.
And Ms.
Here's what
Jackie's proposal is already documented?
She would just had conversations. I mean, whatever is on the minutes of the last meeting, that's the last update I had.
It was, yeah, it's mentioned.
Ms. Goodall spoke with Ms. Jacqueline Goodall Circle has been in contact with 2 companies regarding their services for the American Rescue Plan. She was also in contact with Dr. Denise Lane Davidson, professor of social work at Morgan State, regarding doing a needs assessment for the community. The council is interested in having a citizens committee to provide input on requested needs for the use of the funds. The council wants to have a unique and detailed plan for the use of the funds. So,
Right, and that was in September.
Yeah.
So we're not just beginning the conversation, and we were talking about this during the budgeting process. So the conversation's been going on for quite some time. That was the September minutes.
2 months.
Those were the September minutes, and I said, and we've been talking about ARPA since the budgeting periods. Ever since we've been in the office, we've been talking about ARPA.
Oh, yeah, but that's
So
when we started talking about
you said something to the effect that this was all being thrown. It's not new. So I really want to see us move forward on this, and I'm one person that during the holidays, I'm perfectly happy to talk about this.
But you're, yeah, I hear you, but you're one person. But, can go get the information and see what we can do.
Mr. Baden, can that be gotten to the council well in advance of the next work session? So that we have time to review all the proposals, including Ms. Jackie's?
Yeah.
If she can give us some information too. That way we can come to the next table with time to have examined it.
And I'm curious also, when we were on the four-town meeting, we were literally the only town that was saying that we wanted to hire a consultant. I'm curious to understand what's that all about. I mean, is there something we're missing? Are all your towns doing consultants?
University Park is looking use a large part of their funds for stormwater management, and they're partnering with other neighboring cities for the use of that. So they've come up with 4 broad categories that they're working on, and they don't feel that they need a consultant at this point. District Heights are where they're even behind where we are, where they aren't even setting up meetings to talk about it at all. So, I've been pushing for it. Hopefully it will come soon, but, as I said, only 2.5% of the money has been spent across all the states, and most of them have done nothing. So,
Well, I actually just personally think that at this point, even though we talked about it budget time because we knew there was some money coming in, but there was just so much confusion about it. I want to say the
Right.
clarity wasn't really made, even to the extent we understand it till this date, until somewhere in July, Black August, where everybody was still just talking about what is this and where should it go, or whatever. So I think we're in good shape. I don't mind you bringing it up now to move it forward, but I'm asking, please don't be frustrated, because we're no worse and sometimes better than what other folks are doing with this. We're gonna get there. We're not gonna miss it, we're gonna get there. Are we satisfied with where we are right now?
No.
Where do you wanna be? Where do you wanna be?
I want us to move forward on this.
But where do you wanna be right now?
Home in bed.
But on this subject matter, where do you want to be?
On this subject matter, I am
right
satisfied
now?
at the moment because
Okay.
Mr. Baden has made a commitment to give us this information in advance of our next meeting so that we're not making a decision but I would love to see us make a decision. I would love to see us make a decision at the next meeting about forming a citizen committee and moving forward with how to analyze and prepare to spend these funds so that our town shines and the people are given the help that they deserve and need.
Got it, got it. personnel reasons. Is there a motion for us to go into closed session?
Councilmember Hobbs makes the motion stated.
Is there a second?
Councilmember Harden, I'll second that.
Is there, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.